Welcome to Porch Play Chats, sponsored by the American Association for the Child's Right to Play, or more affectionately titled IPA USA. IPA USA is the USA partner with the International Play Association. And as part of our efforts to promote play, we've introduced Porch Play Chats, which are just conversations with people who are just as passionate about play as we are. I'm Deb Lawrence, and I'm president of IPA USA. And with me on the porch is Wendy Ruiz. How are you, Wendy?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. It's so good
I've
to
missed
see
you.
Wendy is an amazing early childhood play advocate who has been working with children 6 weeks through 5 years as a program coordinator and curriculum specialist. And I think what I love most about Wendy is that she really is into helping teachers understand the value of play and then providing that professional development. And she's also a faculty member. And tell me which college Canyon?
College of the Canyons in California.
Say it
Santa
one more
Clarita.
time.
College of the Canyons,
College of the Canyons, yes, in
Santa
California.
Clarita, California.
Yes. And so Wendy is a fabulous, she does a play day every year at her college that IPA USA helps to partially fund through our mini grants for play. And so Wendy's going to talk to us today about a journey, sort of. So talk to us about what it is, what your title is again.
Sure. So I am faculty at the college, but I'm also co-founder of the Play Place Early Learning Center. It's a nonprofit, play-based childcare center for 6 weeks currently until school age, until they leave for kindergarten, but we hope to expand in the future. We have previously in our original location, we had a play-based kindergarten that was phenomenal and completely play-based, no worksheets, dittos, anything. It was all project-based. And so we look to hope to bring that back in the future, but we revamped and are starting in a new location, a little smaller location. So we're focusing on what's really needed right now, of course, infants and toddlers. Because California, has all that going on with the TK system. So a lot of our local programs have lost their preschool age groups, 4-year-olds specifically, because now 4-year-olds can go to their local schools for free. And
not get play-based.
They say they're play-based, but I mean, if you really want to have that discussion, that's a whole nother topic. But they say they're play-based, they say they're, providing training for early childhood, keep low ratios, but we know the truth and we've seen what's happening. They're not child-centered and they're not really meeting their needs. They're not learning and just everything.
And so one of the things that I think everybody needs to be aware of is that when your state is going to fund preschool, the family child care and early care and education programs have to be at the table and say, no, public schools are not an environment where young children need to be.
Right.
Public schools are an environment for primary age children and not sometimes even for them, right? Because you need to have space that is made for children, not made for children going to the primary grades.
And so staff that are trained, not trained. So what's happening is, yes, the staff that they have are getting their units, but the staff didn't come into the field to work with 4-year-olds and 3-year-olds. They came into the field to work with school age. So it's like telling me, who I work with infants and toddlers, just take some school age classes, take some, we'll teach you how to teach 6th grade and go teach 6th grade. It's fine, I can learn it, but it's not my passion.
Right.
So now we have these teachers who it's not their passion to work with 3- and 4-year-olds. They don't, and you can't teach them all of the ins and outs of what it takes to emotionally support a 3- and 4-year-old, that they're not toilet learned yet. They're still going through separation anxiety. They're so many different things. But and so there, I mean, there's just, and they had early childhood, it came to the table, but they're not listening, of course. So it's all about money. It's about funding. It's about bringing money to their campuses, right?
Mhm.
If they can bring younger children, they can get more money from the state or whatever the case is. And it's directly impacting our programs, our private programs and our nonprofit programs, 100%, because now parents are like, well, I can just go to my school up the street. I don't need to
Yeah.
go to you.
Where they'll be going to public school anyway, so I might as well
Right.
just get them used to the campus.
Exactly. And they think, and they're being told, you know, a different story. They're being told this is what's best for them. They're being
Mhm.
told this is what's available and this is what you should be doing. This is
Mhm.
what your child needs. They're not really hearing. So we are like in our community doing the best we can to educate families. But so, I mean, this really kind of inspired us to start the kindergarten that we did, which was to kind of give you perspective. In the original preschool we had, we were on the same campus as a charter school. So it was a K through 12. So it was free. And then we had our school. And so even though we had a free kindergarten in the same parking lot, parents still chose, we had 10 families still choose to pay us for private kindergarten because of
Mhm.
how it was needed for their child. They knew that their children needed something different.
Mhm.
And that shows you that there's a need out there, right? I mean, we went from 4 children to 10 in 1 year. So because families are realizing, wow, this free program is just because it's free is not necessarily what my child needs. You know, they still
You
need,
get what you pay for, right?
yeah,
In these cases. And I
love
think
and support and all of that. So that really inspired us to do what we're doing now, which was open the nonprofit to, you know, against all odds, we are opening this nonprofit and fighting an uphill battle. But when people ask me why we're doing it, it's because we're losing the focus of play. We're losing the focus of social emotional support. That's really what
yeah.
we're losing the focus of. And that's what my co-founder really is strongly believes in. Yes, play is, of course, it's important, but without the social emotional aspect, we're just, and that's the piece that's missing from the elementary schools like that.
Well,
Yeah.
it was really interesting earlier in a conversation, Jennifer and I were talking about we need to change what we're talking, we need to reframe, right?
Right.
What play is, right? So instead of being school readiness, we need to say it's brain and body readiness, right?
Right.
We have to build the foundations for all future development, and play, child initiated play, positive supportive relationships, healthy development, all with teachers who understand development, right? So
Yeah.
if I went into this with a focus in working with before and after schoolers or primary grade students, depending on my teacher certification, I may never have had child development. And so you can't work with young children unless you have a firm
Right.
foundation and grounding in how children develop. And it's
Yes.
not rote, and it's not large groups, and it's not teacher directed learning, it's play. And so, the the state funded preschool may be free, but the experience that your child is having may not be
It's at a cost.
developmentally effective for where they are in their development. So, sometimes we have to think about, what is it that I'm looking for? Am I looking for a space where I can go that's affordable, which some families have to, and we get
Right.
that. And
Right.
that's what those programs are for. But it doesn't mean that that's the best for every child. So tell us a little bit about infants and toddlers. How many are you doing? Um,
So it's a small, sweet little program for the community. We're not trying to, you know, we're just trying to build something that's meaningful for our community. So it's going to be very small, 45 learners, from 6 weeks until 5. We'll have, maybe 8 infants, 12 12 toddlers and then the rest preschoolers.
Mhm.
Small classes, small group sizes. It's really just providing something for the community that is special and unique. We're hoping, and like in our minds, we're like, we'd rather be small and have a big wait list than huge and struggle to stay open, right? So,
Exactly.
and with the day how things are going now with, like we said, TK and everything, programs are struggling. The bigger programs are struggling.
Mhm.
And so we're just gonna have one classroom of each. We do have room to expand on our property, so that hopefully will happen in the future. But for now, as you grow, you kind of lose focus sometimes on what's real and what's meaningful. And so we're looking forward to just being present and being available for these learners. And because it's a small program, our director is actually going to be able to be hands-on and not be overwhelmed by all the other things going on.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's going to be a family. That's what we're trying to create. It's just a really beautiful family for this, for the learners in our community, and a place where they can be themselves, be children, and be honored and valued for being a child,
Mhm.
versus being prepared for the next step. That, like, why are we always preparing them for the next step? I don't
Yeah.
understand, you know?
We can't rush development. So if people would just recognize that you can't rush development, then teachers would be happier, children would be happier, and we would be seeing development happen instead of trying to force it to happen.
Right,
So, I think that's the huge issue that we face as play advocates, because people don't see the value. Instead, they just want to rush. They want to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And when you rush, you miss steps, right? There's steps that are
right.
missed.
I mean,
It's
Monty Gerber says, like, if you're always looking at what's next, you never appreciate what's
where you
there,
are.
and
Yeah.
there's never an end. How do you appreciate if you're always like, oh, I can't wait till they're walking, I can't wait till they're running, I can't wait till they're, well, then you missed the walking
You've
and the running.
missed the
You missed it
beautiful,
all.
joyful vision of watching them develop, instead of saying, oh, I wish they would hurry up. And it's, look at what they're already doing. I mean,
Look where they're at
it's a
now.
mind shift, right? With how
Right.
do you honor a child's development, recognizing that your 7-month-old may be in a different place developmentally than your friend's 7-month-old. So we shouldn't compare children like that,
How about their
right?
age?
Yes, it doesn't matter where
Yeah.
they are. It's that if they're getting love and support and they feel safe and secure and nurtured, and they have a strong attachment, and they're able to explore their environment without being restricted in movement, and there are people
They're
there
wrong.
who appreciate them, they're going to be perfect. So, it's all of those sort of things that I think we want to, because as adults, and this is the other thing I find, that teachers say, but I get bored. And I'm like, how in the world could you? I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I'm like, what do you mean you were bored? Uh, were you watching? Because that was pretty amazing. But sometimes it's because they don't understand what they're seeing,
Right.
because they're too busy trying to teach, right? So it's a dilemma that I think everyone is in,
Hmm.
that we have to recognize the value of what we're seeing. And one of the ways to keep from being bored is to figure out how you can make what you're seeing visible to families, right?
Which
So
is really
then
hard.
it
It's
is
that's
hard.
the hardest part is, and we've struggled with that on tours and all too, is like, it doesn't look the same. I was explaining this to a parent who's trying to find a program for her child, and she asked the difference between corporate and nonprofit and why, and I said, it's hard. You can't see, it's not as visible. It's visible to us. To me, when I walk into a program, I know instantly if it's high quality, if it's
Mm-hmm.
valuable, if the children are being honored. But for a parent who doesn't have that lens, they see everything looks good, it's clean, they use all the right
Orderly.
words.
Uh-huh.
I
Mm-hmm.
said, it shouldn't look like a school, it should look like a home.
They should, yes.
And it
And
should look like
children
an
should,
institution.
you should hear children's voices, not teachers'
That's
voices.
exactly what I said. You should hear children,
Yes.
adults. You should see engagement. You should see the walls should be filled with individualized art and it should look like a home. Like, right? You
Yeah.
should it should represent a place where they live. Like this is a place it's lived in, not
Not perfect. Yeah.
and it's hard, but it's hard to see the learning from their perspective in that. I don't see the worksheets. I don't see the where do they learn this and where are the numbers and the letters and it's just listen to them, listen to their
Mhm.
conversations, look at how they're using science and physics to build, whatever they're building, there's so much more to it. And we know that, but but the problem is everyone wants proof and we shouldn't have to prove.
No,
That's
we shouldn't have to prove it. But Reggio Emilia taught us how to document it, right? So
yes,
we can do documentation of what children are learning. So parents don't just think all they do is play, even though that's what children need to do. And so I sometimes wonder if we need to be better descriptors. We need to use descriptors and saying, oh, today when they were in free play, or today in centers or whatever it is, so-and-so did this over here and so-and-so did this over here and so-and-so. And these are all the things they were doing and learning as they were playing. And so I think we can help families see what happens in a more visible way. I just think maybe we don't feel comfortable with it. I remember when I was working with teachers as a director, and I would go in and I'd say, oh, that looks like a really exciting activity. The children seem to really enjoy it. Why did you choose it? Because it's fun. No, that is not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear because they're using their creativity, because they're strengthening their fine motor skills,
right,
because they're able to
articulate.
express their feelings. That's what I want to hear.
I tell my students, my college students, it's not if in the end you have to be able to articulate it. You have to be able to explain it. And that's what I try to prepare my students for is you have to explain what you're seeing, what you're doing, if you can't explain it, then the parents can't understand it either.
Right, because they're not child development people.
Right.
Right. So it's not that, parents just don't see it. Well, they've never had
Right, they don't know. Right.
knowledge to be able to see it, but you can help them.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, Wendy, that I did in the infant room when I was a director is that because parents were always, when will they, when will they, when will they?
Yeah.
So we didn't put ages on them, but we had the stages of development in infancy for physical and fine motor and gross, and language and cognitive and social and emotional. So we had them on little index cards. And when a teacher saw that a child was mastering that particular level, then she would send home the next index card. Okay, here's where they've been and here's what's next. So be watching for it. Oh my goodness, that was so helpful. In parents being able to see it happen visibly. So something to consider.
Yeah, very nice.
Any closing thoughts? Because we've got someone waiting in the waiting room. This is
wonderful.
Great. I'm so happy for
grateful
you.
To be here.
I know. I'm so happy for you.
I missed you.
And you're going to have to come back and talk to us when the program opens so that we can
absolutely
kind of get some. You could even walk us through the program at that point in time.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Doing these days.
I can't wait.
All right. So any last comments, Wendy, before we close out?
No, just don't give up the fight.
Don't give up the fight. More than ever.
More than ever.
Children need to play. Absolutely. Hang in there while I close this out. So to learn more about IPA USA, please visit our website at ipausa.org. Up in that top right-hand corner, you can be, you can follow us on YouTube. You can friend us on Facebook. I think that's the right terminology. And you can, what is it on Instagram?
Follow.
Might be follow. I can't remember. And then soon all 300 Porch Play Chats will be up on Spotify. There's already some there, so you can listen to them going back and forth in the car. So until next time, thanks, Wendy. Keep on playing.
Thank you.